I'm meteorologist Rob Eicher for the Florida Weather Authority. Thanks for tuning in to us on this Thursday, the 30th of July. And we have got a very, very soupy air mass in place over the state. A tropical air mass, in fact. And I can prove that. We'll get to that in just a sec. But first things first, as we woke up over Central Florida, or as the sun came up over Central Florida, most of you did not see it, and that's because we had a fair amount of cloud cover, as seen here in the satellite images. There's the sun coming up, and there's the clouds, even some showers and thunderstorms popping up. Some pretty intense rainfall, in fact, over parts of the Gulf Coast. Amy called that. She said that on Monday. She said many of us would wake up to some showers and thunderstorms on Thursday morning, which is a little bit unusual for the summertime, but that is definitely the case today. Could be the case again tomorrow, even on Friday. Here's the good news with that cloud cover in place. We do not have a heat advisory for the first time in a couple of days over central Florida. Panhandle and parts of southern Florida, a little bit different story. If you go back to the satellite imagery, you see they had a little bit less cloud cover up there and down there. So a little more sun means a little bit more heat, but the clouds should keep the temperatures in check for much of the state, at least the central portion of the state, for Thursday. So no heat advisories for today. You can thank a front that is hanging out just north of the Florida Georgia line. This is a stationary front. So, as you might expect for a stationary front, it's not going to go anywhere for a couple of days. The air behind the front is cooler and drier. The air ahead of the front is very tropical. And again, I can prove that. This is kind of weather geeky stuff, but what you're looking at right now is a scan of the atmosphere that shows you the total precipitable water. In other words, if you could somehow squeeze all of the moisture in the atmosphere out, how much would you get? Most of the United States is in this bluish to purplish color here, which would indicate about a half inch to an inch of rain. But there's this band of orange and red over Florida, and that translates to about 2.5 inches of rain. That's a lot of water. In fact, that's about near the max for what you would expect here in Florida. And in fact, the exact same amount that you expect there, if you see that little spin in the tropics, that is Hurricane Genevieve. So again, we've got just the same amount of moisture as they have in the tropics there in the Pacific with the hurricane. So this is a lot of water. What does that mean for us? It means the thunderstorms that do pop up here and there over the next couple of days are going to be capable of producing a quick 2 inches of rain, which means flood advisories are definitely not out of the question. How much total are we going to get as we head all the way through the weekend? Good question. That's the problem when you try to forecast this type of thing. It's because the thunderstorms are scattered in nature, so you know how it works. There could be a thunderstorm that produces 2 inches of rain over here. A couple of miles away, they get 2 drops of rain, and that's it. So the computer models are going to be all over the place when you ask them to add all this up. But these are the estimates across the state going all the way through the weekend up until Sunday evening. So in other words, how much total rain are we going to get through the weekend until Sunday evening? This is the GFS model, commonly referred to as the American model. That says about 1.79 inches. This is the ECMWF, commonly referred to as the European model. They say almost 2.5 inches for Orlando. I could go all the way through these and get different numbers, but this is the national blend of models. It says about 2.39 inches, and that's, in other words, about an average of the models. So we're expecting a good chance of 1, 2, 3 inches of rain here across the state, here or there, kind of hit and miss over the next couple of days, which is fantastic news because the latest drought monitor just came out and that shows most of the state of Florida still in some level of drought. Central Florida, specifically in this tannish to orangish color, that would be moderate to severe drought. So, yeah, we could use some rain. That's the good news. Downside is, again, some of those thunderstorms could produce some brief flooding rainfall. Also, not out of the question that we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms. We do have a marginal risk for severe weather for today, meaning 1 or 2 isolated severe thunderstorms, not out of the question. So stay weather aware for today. And again, the front's going to hang out. So really pretty much copy and paste the forecast for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday, it looks like that front starts to get out of here. And as that happens, we will start to dry out and get back to normal. Typically, this time of year, we see one or two hit or miss showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. That will be the case Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with highs then in the low to mid 90s, which again is about normal for this time of year. But as long as we have that front hanging out just north of the state, we've got a good chance of rain, not just in the afternoon, but also a possibility we could see showers and thunderstorms pop up at unusual times of the day, even the middle of the night or early morning hours. And again, some of those storms could be on the strong side, but with the clouds and the rain around, the temperatures will stay in check. Will still be very humid, so expect heat indices up over in the triple digit range, but actual temperatures up only in the upper 80s to low 90s all the way through the weekend.